I could say here, for example, select the cluster, and I could say start cluster. So if we just verify the instructions once again, create a cluster, C1, I1, I2, this is there, and then we say start the cluster. Everything that I'm showing you using web console can be done using CLI. So I have asadmin, start cluster. Similarly, asadmin, create cluster. All those commands exist. So in here, I'll say start cluster. It says start the selected cluster. So you only start the cluster effectively, and then as part of it, it automatically fires up the instances as well, even if they're local or remote. It knows, I mean, because of the SSH connectivity and the provisioning and everything, it will start all the instances in your cluster. Now this machine, this Windows instance is somehow having some internet connectivity issues. It's not able to connect. So, and somehow the IP address is not detected correctly, because of which the instances are not able to join the cluster. Now the workaround for that is you have to explicitly specify, actually step back. So when you create a cluster, you have instances in them. They all talk to my DAS for communication. Effectively, you give an administrative command to the DAS that go ahead, deploy this application on so-and-so cluster. The cluster is consisting of multiple instances. So the DAS gives the command to the local instances, and then local instances or remote instances respond back, oh, I'm done with it. If your machine is not able to detect the IP address, it kind of gets confused, what your IP address of the DAS is. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to explicitly specify the IP addresses just as a workaround because there is no internet connectivity. So I'm going to explicitly specify the IP address. But if in a typical environment where you're Ethernet wired, that's not required. And the way I do that is I go to C1, which is my cluster. It says cluster is running, so I can deploy my applications. But first, let me go to instances here.